Welcome to our next session. I have again lovely Dana Smithers with me. Dana was with us in our 33rd episode talking about deliberate manifestation. So if you're interested who Dana is and what she does, I highly advise you to go and check the 33rd episode. Dana is an expert in law of attraction. She's been teaching this for years. She's been helping women in business, but she's also a sacred gifts teacher as well as emotion code practitioner. I'm very excited to have you back, Dana, today.
Thank you, Milena. I'm super excited. I love talking about sacred gifts, and as a certified sacred gifts guide, I have the pleasure of taking people through the program so that they can discover their sacred gifts. The program was actually created by Monique McDonald.
Yes.
The Discover Your Sacred Gifts program, and over the years, Monique and I have worked together. I've been to a lot of her workshops, and more recently, I've actually become one of her certified Sacred Gift Guides trainer. In fact, the only one.
Wow.
So I'm getting to bring more guides through, because Monique and I both feel that, you know, when someone knows what their sacred gifts are, there's 24 that she works with in the program. When they learn their 3 to 5, it can really be life-changing. And Monique says that she is a shift disturber. Yeah. So she likes to use that comment when she's working with people, because things really will shift. And, you know, being a law of attraction person as well as a certified emotion code practitioner, I totally get it's all about the energy. And it's all about the positive vibes and the negative vibes that we give out. So if people are in businesses or jobs, or even as entrepreneurs doing things that they really don't like, or as we say in the program, sucks the life out of you, then that's a clue that you really shouldn't be doing that. You know, not necessarily shouldn't, I don't like to say that, but you know, there's more to, yes, there is more to life than what you're going through right now. Absolutely. At that time. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what, then I had privilege that I actually worked with you on my sacred gifts. That was probably now, was it 3 years ago?
It's quite a few actually.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I remember when you told me about my sacred gifts, so it was like, oh, I understand myself now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was such a revelation for me.
Yeah, and for so many people, it's a really nice validation, you know, if they are on that journey. And, you know, say if you come to that fork in the road, it's nice to know what you really love to do, right? What brings you meaning, and also how do you serve on the planet, right? You know, you and I are very, very deeply connected to our spiritual purpose and the spiritual journey, and, you know, why are we here? And if, you know, you can have sacred gifts that are very dormant in your body. A lot of people that I put through the program, especially around healing and sensitivity, that many people were told as a child, or if they were a sensitive, maybe they saw, you know, their grandfather was talking to them and he'd passed or something, and the mother comes in and goes, oh, no, we don't talk about things like that. So they get it pushed down, or it's just not accepted in their circle or their peers, or even as you're growing up in school, people may think you're weird because you're into sort of different things. And, you know, by discovering your sacred gifts, one of the biggest things is you can let go of judgment of other people, particularly, Milena, around this whole aspect of, I'm going to talk about caregiving for a minute, because I talked about it before, I think in my episode 33, about the law of attraction, that, you know, recently, or for the last couple of years, I have been in the position of being a caretaker for my husband, even though I've continued working. I'm self-employed, so I work at home. But what I realized early on is that I don't have the sacred gifts of caretaking. So I don't have the sacred gift of compassion. Now, the way Monique describes sacred gifts in the programs is not necessarily the way you think of that word if you were to look it up in a Webster's dictionary. Yeah. So, you know, I'm compassionate, but I'm not a Mother Teresa, right? I'm not picking up homeless off the street. With that gift of compassion, you're really, it's very hands-on. You can you could be a nurse, you could be caregiving, you could be a nurse's aide, whatever, but it's very hands-on. You could be working with marginalized people, with addicts, whatever. So I don't have that gift, although I have compassion. I mean, I have my charities and, groups that I like to donate to or volunteer with. But with the caregiver, so also if you don't have this gift of service, people that have this gift of service, I think Monique said, is they're like the Swiss Army knife. They can do everything, right? They multitask, they get it all done. Like it's nothing for them to say, yeah, I can take on that project, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. That's not me. I don't have that gift of service. Certainly, one of the characteristics of the gift of service is someone that will sort of jump in and help. I will do that if I go to an event or something, but sometimes it's more motivated by my humanness than it is my beingness, which is where the sacred gifts reside. So that's a whole other topic in itself.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. You mentioned two things that kind of, I could really connect. One of them was like when you said, well, they saw dead grandfather or so, right? Oh, we don't talk about it. I saw my uncle who passed away a few years before I was born. And I'm telling my family, come on, he was right here. And I was like, you couldn't see him, he died. And I still remember that memory. So I can relate to that. And I totally shut down that. And even when we were doing the sacred gifts, that didn't come up even remotely. But now, all my intuition and all this, I don't even know how that gift is called, but this is
gift of sensitivity.
That's right. It just skyrocketed, right? Yeah. So I understand these dormant gifts.
Yeah.
And how many times do you see this in people that, these gifts develop with time, that if they take it the next time, this assessment, that the outcomes...
Yeah, often, Milena. And even when I like to do mine, so the way that we discern your sacred gifts is by working through a process. So Monique has set it up step by step. So we start off what we call a word list. So there's about 80 words, and you just circle words that mean something to you. It could be listening, encouragement, teamwork, hands-on, speaking, teaching, any number of words. You just circle what resonates with you. But even though you're doing something right now and you're very good at it, it's not necessarily a sacred gift, because there are skills and talents which are different from sacred gifts. So when we're using that definition of a sacred gift is when it's a gift that you use for the benefit of someone else. So it's not necessarily for you. You could be a healer and not be able to heal yourself because it's a sacred gift for somebody else. But it has to have meaning for you. Like it has to be meaningful. So I know that you and I have both been in jobs or situations where we've really done an excellent job, and I'm sure some of your listeners feel the same. But you kind of reach a plateau and it no longer has meaning for you, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, you're excellent at it, but it's kind of sucking the life out of you. Like it's just not what it used to be. I was working with someone yesterday who's a realtor, and she just said, I just can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, that's good. Your soul's speaking to you, right?
Yeah.
So even though she has gone through the Sacred Gifts program, we're going to do it again with her. So when I do it every couple of years, I always have, 2 or 3 that are always the same. They seem to be, like teaching, writing.
Yes.
And those 2 stay there. But I have others that kind of shift around a little bit. And even since I've become an emotion code practitioner, that's involved with healing. And I'm going to go back and do so there's 120 statement inventory where you look at, and I want to redo that because I'd be curious how I respond now to those things. And then also in the program, for every sacred gift, the 24 sacred gifts, Monique has an audio where she describes the characteristics. And she's often saying, just what you just said, that just let things surface.
Yeah. Be
open to what might come up, because not only, is it for the benefit of someone else, it's meaning for you, but is it bringing you joy? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's super important, right? And, even if we think of someone in the funeral business, having recently gone through, had a few people transition out of my life, going into the funeral parlor is never been something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the people that really have the sacred gift of that, like for them, it's a pleasure. They probably have this most likely the sacred gift of service as well, and they're actually going to walk you through the process and make it as easy as they can for you. And while we're saying, well, that's not super joyful, it's very meaningful for them, and they do have a certain level of satisfaction and joy that they know they've made it easier for the people that are left behind and having to go through the process.
Yes.
So they can be dormant at any time and resurface any time as well. The more, I think that when people are ready for that shift, Milena, they know that, I think there's more to life. I mean, that's what all your programs are about, right?
Yes.
There's different ways to help people shift, but I believe that knowing their sacred gifts is one of the big ways, because it allows you some introspection. But I also like to think that for those people on a spiritual journey, that they get a little bit of insight into their soul purpose here. Like, why are you here? And sometimes it can be a scary transition for people. If it's like, then people say, well, I really would like to do that, or I'd like to get into this. And then they've got all the buts. But, it doesn't pay that well, or I'd have to start at my business. I don't know if I'd be successful, or if I career hop, will that look good on my resume? So we get into all the humanist things of money and ego and all of that, where in fact our soul is really crying out to do something different, to make a difference in the world. And it does not matter what that is.
Yeah. And then you mentioned something that, can you clarify that for our listeners? You mentioned humanness and beingness.
Yeah. Love to do that, because that's a big part of the program. So if someone was to draw a big circle, anybody's listening and they want to do that, draw a big circle, and in the center draw a smaller circle. So inside that big circle, this is where your humanness lies. So what you find in your humanness is your ego, your stories. Culturally, how are you brought up? You've got all sorts of labels. Are you a mother, a brother, a sister, a father, a grandparent, a peer, whatever. So everything in your humanness, and a big part of that is your personality. And if people want to explore more about their personality, then I invite them to go just do a keyword search for Enneagrams. It's ENNEAGRAMS.com, or just search. There is a website called that. But there are 9 personality types. So in our humanness, we've all got, we've got money stories, we've got relationship stories, we got all sorts of stories our whole life that we've believed in that could be false. But, the ego doesn't want to be wrong, and it wants to make sure we stay on that path. It doesn't like any dissension. So also when you find out what, what's driving you in your humanness, again, is it your money story? Is it, are you running away from relationships or whatever? It doesn't matter. So that all resides in your humanness. It could be, in your humanness, you, part of your upbringing, did you go to church? Did you have a religion? Who taught you? What did you learn? Who were your teachers? Who were your peers? So in all that humanness, inside where that little ball is, that smaller circle that you've drawn, is your beingness. And in your beingness resides your sacred gifts. And also in the humanist, you can also write the word skills and talents. Because a talent is something that you are born with. You might be someone that is very talented and plays the piano, but it's not considered a sacred gift because you don't want to, take whatever lessons you need and become a professional and be doing it for the world. You just do it for yourself, right? Same with any artistic thing. But skills can be learned. You and I learned how to use Zoom, right? We have a technical glitch. We can figure it out, right? Because we've been on enough technology. People can learn how to do anything. A carpenter, a dressmaker, someone in the healing arts can learn about aromatherapy. Like, we can learn that as a skill. But where the beingness and the sacred gift, that's where you're connected to spirit or to source or to God or whatever you want to call it. You know, something that's greater than your humanness resides in all of us.
Yes.
It's just that we don't always, you know, I think there comes a time in life, and they say for women, it's typically around the age of 35 that we start to, interesting enough, that was exactly what happened with me. Started on a different journey. I think I mentioned it in my that episode 33, talking about the law of attraction, where I was, you know, passed out on the lawn, and it's like, oh my, that is literally when my life changed. And I think I was 34, 35 at that time, because I was saying like, oh my goodness, this cannot be all there is, right? Like, it wasn't that I was saying to myself, I'm better than this, I can do better, I'm greater than this. It was just like, seriously, this cannot be all there is to life, because this has to change. And that's when, honestly, my entire life changed with using the law of attraction, because I got focused on what I wanted instead of my sad stories about what I didn't want, which I kept attracting over and over, even in relationships. So.
Oh, that's very interesting. And I have to tell you, we share the same sentence. This cannot be all there is. Because I asked myself a similar question. I'm like, what? That's it? And then you die? That's it? There's got to be more to life. Right? And then life happens and good stuff starts happening. You discover yourself. So tell me, why people come to you? Why do they want to know their secret gifts? So how is that helping them?
Yeah, well, I think in order to, Monique calls the program now more feel on purpose, where we might not uncover your life purpose, but we will uncover those things that make you feel on purpose, where you feel like, yeah, this is really something, like, as I said, my teaching and writing, you know, there's certain characteristics of teaching, and we've all seen, this is where the humanness comes in. We've all had teachers throughout our life. Some were good. Some were terrible, right? So, you know, they could have the skill of being a teacher, but if that humanness gets in and it's not a sacred gift, the learning is not going to take place as well as it does with someone that has a sacred gift. So I was working with someone that's in one of my women's networking groups, and she just went through the program, and she has always wanted to write a book, and she's been totally frustrated with it. And so we went through the program, and she said, what she said she came to realize is that the book is there, the story is there, but she doesn't have the sacred gift of writing, so she's just going to record it because she loves speaking, and then she's going to have someone transcribe it for her. So, you know, that's a way, like, if you're stuck on something, even in your business as an entrepreneur, there's always things that we do that we really don't like to do. And writing is a good example. If people have to do their website, their newsletter, and for them it's like procrastination, groan and moan, they don't want to do it. It's not your sacred gift. Let it go. Hire somebody. Because for the time, money, and energy that you would pay in hiring someone, say even for an hour, to do your copywriting or even your graphics or whatever, you can go and be conducting your business and use your sacred gifts where you feel happy and you feel alive. So, you know, people could be in careers that they don't like, but, you know, they go, well, you know, I've got a family to support, I've got the mortgage, I like my lifestyle, I want to buy a new car, I want to travel. So they're not necessarily making excuses, but they're kind of denying themselves what they're really here for. And I don't think they'll move. I think they'll hit a wall at some point where they say, is this all there is? Right? They've got the money, they've got this and that. So it really helps people to get in alignment with their purpose here on the planet, and validates a lot of things that they are doing, and also lets them know that, oh, I don't have that sacred gift. So why am I trying to be someone that I'm not? For example, a good one of that is people that are in network marketing or multi-level marketing, where they're selling a product or whatever it is. There are people, and we see them all the time, that absolutely excel at trade shows. They love it. They're, you know, you just feel the vibration, like, come on into my booth and get a sample and let's talk and all of that. And there are other people who signed up for multi-level marketing and they just stand by their table and say, well, I didn't get very many people there. And you're kind of looking at them thinking, you know, vibrationally, because law of attraction, its job is to match your vibration. So if you're standing there thinking, well, no one's going to buy this or whatever, I'm not sure. One of the sacred gifts that you are missing is the sacred gift of hospitality. And if you don't have that gift of hospitality, then maybe doing the trade shows is not the way you need to do it. Maybe you need to do more one-on-one calling, or maybe you need to do, engaging in Facebook posts or social media is a better way for you to go. But I know a lot of people in that multi-level marketing will just give up and get frustrated. And then they'll blame it on the product, or nobody's buying, or there's too many of us out there, when in fact that's not really the case. If you're not using your sacred gifts, you'll know it when you're not happy. So, you know, there are 4 signs of sacred gifts to know whether or not what they might be if you were thinking about it. So the first one is looking for feedback. You know, what have people said for you throughout your life? Like, oh, you know, I notice you're kind of good at that. Or, you know, maybe you're even someone that's totally into fashion and someone says, oh, you know, you always look so great. And you go, it's easy. People that have sacred gifts often dismiss them until they know they are a sacred gift. And a sacred gift means it's worthy of respect. And once you start respecting the gifts, then you're respecting, you know, your God-given soul purpose on this planet. And so another sign is repeated patterns. Like, what have you done throughout your life that has brought joy to me, but maybe you're not doing it right now? Like, think about the patterns in your life. Oh yeah, I really used to love to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that just because you like to go dancing or something in your youth that, oh yeah, I miss that. That could just be something that you enjoy doing, right? It's not necessarily for the benefit of someone else, but I do invite you to do more of it if you like to dance, right? And then one of the real keys is where you feel energized. So Milena, I know you well enough to know that when we give you a microphone and put you on a platform, you go crazy, right?
Yes.
You love it, and your face lights up and your energy is there, and the joy, and people feel it, right? For other people that have a similar message to you, that might not be the vehicle that they want to use to get the message out. Maybe they do a lot of recordings or something. And
you know, it's very interesting that you say that, because I've never had any training in speaking. I just love it. I just love it. And I know when I was in high school and so on, I would study for my exams, I would walk up and down imagining there's a big audience listening to me and I was teaching them. That's how I was studying for.
So there you go.
Right? And to me, it's so natural, so easy. So I actually teach others how to speak. And it's sometimes very hard to connect. Why don't they see that it's that easy?
Right? Because it's not a sacred gift.
That's right. It's not their gift, right?
They might be better at writing or doing posts or maybe even doing recordings or something, right? But that's a repeated pattern for you. You can go back to high school.
All the way back. That was always my desire, and here I am.
And you're energized by it. And the last thing is you get extraordinary results from your gift, which seem absolutely effortless to you. And I know sometimes in fact, I was doing it this morning, coaching with a couple of my women solopreneurs, and I've been coaching this one gal for, I guess, about 1.5 years now. She signs up for different programs, but she does not have the sacred gift of writing. So I always know when she's about to do something different. She'll say, do you think you could look it over and just see, you know, and really virtually I write the whole thing. Just the whole, you know, I keep the point, but just write it, and the email back is awesome, you know, because for me, it's really easy. And I remember too, when I first discovered that writing was a sacred gift of mine, it was the first time I did the workshop, the Discover Your Sacred Gifts workshop with Monique, that I circled writing. I remember sitting there and I said to Monique, I said, well, anybody can write. And she just looks at me and she shakes her finger at me and she goes, no. She said, do you know how hard it is for me to, in fact, I don't even know where that second book is now that I think of it. Yeah, I need to get on her about that. But she wrote her first book, Sacred Living versus Living Scared.
Yeah.
But what she did is she just really took people's emails and her response to it. So she put it in the form of a book. But to
Yes.
her, it doesn't come easily. And she said, no, writing, and for me, and I don't know for you, Milena, you do write your own courses. So is writing one of your sacred gifts? Is that easy for you?
You know what? I have a little bit of a struggle with this. Let's say if I write a story, if I decide to write just a fictional story, the words just flow. I feel inspired. I don't even know how it comes about, and it's beautiful. But when I have to write the description for my courses or who I am, when I need to do that kind of writing, it's very difficult for me.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think I have a very big gift. Maybe that's actually a gift of sensitivity when I write stories, because I feel like there's just something flowing through me. It's,
Right.
it's a different feel.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not like you. It doesn't come that easy.
Yeah, you might have the sacred gift of planning. So people that have that sacred gift of planning are really good at looking at a course and then just hitting off all the components of it. Like planning, this is when we'll do it. They don't necessarily have to be the one doing it, but they could be planning for somebody. So it might be, it's a possibility that it's that as well. And that maybe it's a skill that you've learned. Monique says people that write sort of the how-to books, she doesn't really consider that necessarily a sacred gift of writing, because it's, more logical thinking, and it has definitely the sacred gift of teaching in there, right?
Yes.
Somebody that can take complex material and make it very simple for the learner. They're often the people that you'll find in a group or something who sometimes will help other people out when someone's teaching something and they can see the group doesn't get it. They might put their hand up and just say, so are you saying this? And rewording it so they know that people will get it, and they go, yes, that's what I'm saying. And other people go, right? So that's a gift of a teacher as well, that they can make sense of something that can be very complex as well.
How many sacred gifts are there?
Well, with the program that Monique teaches, there's 24 sacred gifts.
Okay.
And we all have three to five of them. And as I say, what we like to do when we take people through the program is find those ones that are sort of borderline, that when you do the inventory, you're going to get a score from 0 to 15. And 15 often indicates some of what could be your higher sacred gifts or your sacred gifts. But again, it's just a score because we put everything together. But some of those that are your kind of thing, like I remember having certain gifts that I thought, I'd really like to explore that more. And maybe it is a sacred gift and I don't know it because I haven't been using it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been dormant for so long. So that's another benefit of the program, that it allows you a bit more self-discovery. It's not what people have told you you're good at or
That's
what you should be doing. It's, what's inside in that beingness part that is, where you feel more alive and more energized.
This is so interesting. I think we could go on for hours about this. Very interesting topic. So tell me, if people want to do the sacred gifts with you, where do they go? Where can they find you and information about this?
Yeah, thanks, Milena. So the exciting thing right now, if you're listening to this live on February 18th and 19th, this is 2017. You might be listening to a few years down the road, but February 18th and 19th, Monique is putting on a 2-day workshop in Abbotsford. I believe it's at the Sandman Hotel. So it's live. I will be there as well and be part of the training. If people want to do the live one, if people want to do the program that I offer, it's 4 weeks and we do it on Zoom. So I offer a program every quarter. So I'm just halfway through a group right now. So you can go to danasmithers.com/programs, and then just scroll down to Sacred Gifts. Okay. And you'll find that program there. So my next one I probably will be doing in May, as I'm just doing this one right now, which is going to go into February as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good program. I recommend it to everybody. You will learn so much about yourself.
Yeah.
If you know your sacred gifts. And Dana, she's really good. She really So thank you so much, Dana, for
thank
being
you, Milena.
here and sharing this powerful knowledge with us. It's very exciting to know these things.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate the privilege of being on your show a couple of times. And yeah. And I love the fact that so many of us are so supportive to like-minded people, and we know there's messages that need to get out there where, I think if people are doing something that they love, they make a happier, the planet happier, and they're not focusing on all the negative stuff that's going on around them that they can't really control.
That's right.
So
that's right. Very good message, Dana. Thank you so much for being here today.